what exactly you are doing to analyze the deals, and what are the key points that kind of stood out for you that you should be paying attention to these things and this make a good investment for you.
Sure. Well, number one for me is always is, and I think it's for everyone. You have to understand what you're investing in. I think a lot of people make a huge mistake. They just look at the upside and then think, "Oh my God, this is a 3x return on a 5-year hold. This is great. Sign me up." Well, no. You need to understand. Is there a detailed business plan? Do you understand how a particular investment is going to triple your investment? Is there a strong team around it? I didn't pay as much attention back then around the track record and the operator, how long they've been in business. Are they a single operator, or are they do they have a team?
This is the Real Estate Vibe Show, and I'm your host, Vinki Loomba. As a real estate investor and a fund manager, I'm always excited to explore the world of real estate opportunities with you and for you. And today I have my very good friend, Alex Kholodenko, with me. Welcome, Alex, to the Real Estate Vibe Show.
Thank you, Vinky, for the opportunity to share my story and to add value. I appreciate it.
Yeah, me too. I appreciate you being here. So a little bit about Alex. Alex is the co-founder of Wealthy Mind Investments, an entrepreneur, investor, speaker, and a mentor. Wow. After 25 years of career as a tech executive in Silicon Valley, Alex transitioned into a full-time real estate investing. He has been actively involved in over 2 billion of commercial real estate transactions, including multifamily properties, industrial medical offices, and other alternative investments. As a fund manager, general partner, syndicator, and passive investor in over 60 investments, Alex is dedicated to helping 1,000 busy tech professionals diversify their investments away from the volatile stock market and achieve financial independence. Transitioning from a tech executive to a full-time real estate investor is a challenging yet rewarding journey. It involves shifting from a fast-paced, innovation-driven environment to one that requires deep market knowledge, financial acumen, and strategic planning. This transition demands learning new skills, understanding complex real estate markets, and building a reliable network. Despite these hurdles, it offers opportunity to diversify investments, create passive income streams, and achieve financial independence. And guess what? Alex did that. Our today's topic is from tech executive to full-time real estate investor. So once again, Alex, welcome to the show. I'm going to ask you, can you start by sharing a bit about your background in the tech industry?
Yes, thank you. Originally, I'm from Ukraine. I came in the 90s, and I was kind of trying to find my ways in the beginning. And then in the late 90s, the internet boom started, and I joined that internet revolution. So I worked as a software engineer for several years for some startups. Later on, I joined some Fortune 500 companies in the banking and fintech sector. And over time, I became a manager and a senior manager and a tech executive at one point as well. In the early 2000s, that's where I met my future business partner and good friend, Ashish Sanang, where we ended up working in a mortgage company in IT department, working on underwriting. And that's where we started to learn more about the risk, the analysis, and the real estate world kind of open up at that time for myself.
Great. You said you met your partner before even getting into real estate. But was there any intention to move into real estate, or what exactly motivated you to transition from a tech executive and now full-time real estate investor?
I think there was a combination of a variety of different things. I think at one point I realized that I wanted to do my own thing as far as creating my own company and be more independent. I've always been driven and motivated to go after big goals and big dreams. Growing up, I was instilled with the notion of my parents, go to school, get a good job, get a good education, achieve American dream, which I did all that. But then at one point, I started to feel unfulfilled, if you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean. I went to Tony Robbins event back in 2015, and when Tony Robbins said, the quote from Robin Williams as a very animated, famous actor, where he achieved quite a bit, but he was not fulfilled. And the ultimate failure is being unfulfilled really struck in my mind, where I
Mm-hmm.
thought, what could be my way out from the corporate world? And
Mm-hmm.
after a lot of deep soul searching and analysis, I realized that real estate investing could be a vehicle to get me out of the rat race. As along the way, you have to help other people. We all know that real estate investing, especially commercial real estate, is a team sport. It's a team effort. You cannot be successful doing it on your own. And that's what I did. I have formed a strategic partnership with many partners. I created a study company with a good friend of mine, a business partner, Ashish Chanan, and real estate, again, it was just a vehicle. Was the vehicle that I chose to focus
Okay,
on.
I'm going to dig a little bit deeper over here. You use the word soul searching. And at the same time, you mentioned that you went to Tony Robbins' event. So these kind of things does not happen just by coincidence.
Correct.
So there has to be some strategic decision has to be made, to do these kind of things. So what happened that made you take this route, like soul searching? Why you are trying to search who you are or where you want it to be?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for the most part, we as human beings, we do not like to change, although we think we do. And change is not easy. You could change quickly. The Tony Robbins talk, change happens in a moment like that. But in order for us to change, something really bad usually needs to happen. And in my case,
Happen.
back in 2015, I think I hit one of my lowest points in my life, where
Mhm,
the stress factor from my tech job, I was working at Capital One at that time, was so high that I almost became paralyzed. I had a herniated disc. I had such sciatica problems in my back. I was recommended a surgery. And
mhm,
I just realized that, there is a mind and body connection, obviously. I was so miserable with my
mhm,
job. I just hated it. But I had responsibility on the other hand. I was a
mhm,
father, I was a husband, I needed to pay the bills. But
mhm.
at one point, my body gave up on
Yeah.
me. And I had to take sabbatical. I took 6 months off, and that's where my first several weeks, I just couldn't move at all. I slowly
Mhm,
recovered, and that's where I went to Tony Robbins event, where I made the decision that I need to pivot. I need to do something dramatic. I need to do something different, because if you continue to do what you do, the definition of insanity, you will get exactly the same results. And I was job hopping for a while, getting some incremental raises, but I was still climbing the corporate ladder. I was still doing this pretty much the same thing, and I realized that back in 2015 that I cannot do that. I need to find a way out. And again, real estate was just a vehicle.
mhm. You said it very well. And then when you're in your lowest moments, that's when the breakthroughs happen because
Yes,
you're looking for something bigger than yourself. That's what you do. But this is quite a journey, in
it is.
itself. It's not that simple saying, oh, I got sick, oh, I had a herniated disc, and then breakthrough happened just like that. So can you share with us, how did you overcome some of the challenges or hurdles during that phase? And what made you decide, okay, real estate, you've been saying is a vehicle, but why real estate? Sometimes people think, okay, if I switch my company going from A to B, from Apple to Google, maybe I'll have a new perspective, new set of cohort or new set of friends and, colleagues over there. So everything will change for me. But you mentioned something there, keep on doing the same thing over again and expecting the different result. even though it's a different company, but it was kind of similar action in your perception. So shed some light on that, please.
Yeah, happy to share more details. So back in 2015, I wanted actually to quit and become a full-time real estate investor back then. But I didn't. I realized that I was not mentally ready to be full-time real estate investor, because becoming full-time real estate, you have to become entrepreneur.
Mhm.
You are on the front line. You're responsible for sales, marketing, accounting, you name it. It's a full-time gig. I realized that I was not mentally ready for that. I didn't have enough skills to
Mhm.
become real estate entrepreneur. So what I did was I still decided to stay with tech, but I pivoted toward a different career within tech, where I realized that I lacked some communication skills, sales skills, presentation
Mhm.
skills, marketing skills. I switched my careers. I stayed in tech, because I needed to enhance those skills. In addition to that, I realized that I could do this on part time. I'm a big believer that if you want to be a real estate investor and entrepreneur full time, you have to start small. You have to take incremental baby steps. And
Baby
if you
steps.
cannot figure this out on part time, most likely you will not be able to do this full time either. So I started investing back in 2015. In fact, my roommate, when I went to Tony Robbins' Fiji retreat, was a real estate flipper, and that's what I did for close to a year, until I
Mhm.
realized, well, that's not the vehicle, specific strategy that
Mhm.
I would be successful at. It didn't utilize my strengths, and we all have strengths and weaknesses. In addition to that, even prior to deciding if real estate could be a vehicle, I explored other businesses,
Mhm.
real estate, e-commerce. I'm a former tax preparer as well. I looked into buying a franchise, but something around real estate specifically was kind of
Pulling you.
getting
Mhm.
me in, kind of a pulling me in. This is something that is a true and tried vehicle. 90% of millionaires, in fact, accredit real estate to their wealth. There's a huge tax benefits if you take time to understand what real estate could do to create a generational wealth. And by the way, I'm still investing in the stock market. I'm still investing in other alternative assets, including crypto. But real estate is the only vehicle that I know of
Mhm.
that has this tax deferral, tax benefits, tax deductions that no other investment out there offers.
You said it very well, actually. And you said you started investing as a passive investor, as a limited partner in 2015 because you wanted to try out before going into the full-time entrepreneurship route. A lot of people, they love what they're doing rather than the tech space. Not everybody has a similar journey. So I don't think there's any issues. Keep on doing the both, because you can keep on doing whatever you love, being executive for a company or CEO or part of the C-suite or whatever you're trying to do in the tech space. That's perfectly fine. But still, there's a way for you to ride this wave, the real estate wave,
Correct.
because you're going to save on taxes, like you said, and also you're going to be multiplying your wealth. You can also use your 401k, which a lot of people don't even know, that you can leverage your 401k, and then
Correct.
you can do that while you're in service, because when you're in service, portion of it you can roll over to the self-directed IRA. From there, you can do the investments and you can grow exponentially compared to whatever you're doing at your job at current. So you want to talk about that too a little bit? How did you grow your portfolio or set the base or the foundation for you when you started investing in 2015?
Yes, yeah. So I started as a flipper first, although I experimented and tried different type of investments in the beginning, including liens and deeds. I went to a few auctions, and I realized, what am I doing at these auctions? I'm not that kind of guy that has construction skills like my friend that I met in Fiji. Though I
Mhm.
started lending money, I became a passive investor. I would give him money for flipping these projects, because sometimes he would buy them in bulk, and then he would compensate me with a yield, with an interest versus borrowing money from the bank. But then that was not very tax efficient. And that went back late in 2015. There was a lot of crowdfunding platforms starting to pop up on the internet. And I was a tech executive engineer. I would be very analytical. I would look into different deals. And that's at that time where I started to kind of shift my portfolio from just the stock market to stock market and real estate investment. So I was one of those early pioneers that was investing in your crowd streets, your realty shares, and some other platforms. And I did really well on some of them. But unfortunately, some of them I was completely wiped out as well. But I understood the risk. I was perfectly fine and okay with diversifying and building tax efficient passive income. Because my goal was at one point, I knew that eventually I needed to replace my income and leave. And real estate again was just a vehicle to build enough passive income stream through different investments. And then at that point, at one point, I realized I could do this full time. I probably know a lot of Alexes
That's true.
that are out there that are working in a tech industry that are very busy, they don't have time nor desire to do a lot of due diligence, fly out to see these assets, analyze this deal in detail, and things like that. And that's where I kind of had a seed in my planted the seed in my mind that one
like a learning curve for you at that point,
yes.
whether you lose the money or you make the money, that was not your goal. That's the way I understand after listening to you. So, but at the same time, you were analyzing the deals, right? So what exactly the learning was there? What exactly you are what exactly you are doing to analyze the deals? And what are the key points that kind of stood out for you that you should be paying attention to these things and this make a good investment for you?
Sure. Well, number one for me is always is, and I think it's for everyone. You have to understand what you're investing in. I think a lot of people make a huge mistake. They just look at the upside and then think, "Oh my God, this is a 3x return on a 5-year hold. This is great. Sign me up." Well, no. You need to understand. Is there a detailed business plan? Do you understand how a particular investment is going to triple your investment? Is there a strong team around it? I didn't pay as much attention back then around the track record and the operator, how long they've been in business. Are they a single operator, or are they do they have a team? For example, in one of the investments that I made, I completely lost entire principal because there was a single operator and the guy decided that things are not going well. I'm going to Greece, and for whatever reason, the property just ended up in foreclosure. It was total mismanagement, but there was a single partner. So the biggest risk in my case, and now that I know that, I would like to have opportunities to invest with people that have partners. Because if one of the partners decide to move to Maldives, it is the other partner could continue the operations and bring the project till a successful end. I was always looking for the right locations. I always wanted to know, does this location resonate with me? Does it have a rent growth? Does it have a story? Do people leave a particular neighborhood? Is there jobs? Is there positive growth is that in that particular area as well? And I would always invest for cash flow. I never was in the early beginnings with my risk appetite. I would always invest in projects that would pay some sort of yield, maybe not huge yield. And in addition to that, I would always look for deals that have a tax efficiency, because at that time, I had a high paying W-2 job and I didn't want to pay additional taxes on the income that I would receive.
And so these are all the syndicated investments that you're talking
Yes.
about. You get that right. So let me ask you this question. How did your experience in the tech industry help you in real estate? I mean, you talked about earlier that you're looking for the job growth, population growth, emerging markets, cash flow. All these terms are kind of foreign to the tech people, right? So what skill set that you brought from the tech world into the real estate that it was more like a connecting point for you that helped you build this whole empire, the $2 billion empire that you built for yourself?
Sure. Well, I started out as an engineer, so I think
Mhm,
by nature, although I would consider myself an extrovert, I'm also super analytical, and I go very deep. If I don't understand some particular financials or numbers, I would ask clarifying questions, and I would not go deep in terms of the pro forma on each expense ratio or things like that. But at a high level, you need to understand the business plan. You need to understand, can the rent growth be achieved within a year? Is the rent growing in that market? Right now, as you know, there is a lot of markets that are struggling, right? There's negative rent growth. But at that time, when you make the decision to invest or not, you need to know that. You need to
mhm,
know that is the overall trend on a business plan that is presented to you whole truth, or is there an outlier? As we all
mhm,
know, sometimes on a national level or on a state level, there could be a negative trend, but there could be outliers in a specific neighborhood, right? Specific zip code. Sometimes you walk from one neighborhood 5 blocks to, and then you see a totally different neighborhood, right? Real estate is very local. So you
mhm.
need to know that skills, and I think being analytical and having that skill really helped me to be where I am.
Thanks for sharing that. I kind of resonate with you on that too. And for us, like when we look for the deals, we are looking for the strong track record for the sponsors as
Yes.
well. So our investor has to do the less legwork because we do all the legwork for our investors. And then we have built so many relations with the in the industry, and then we know most of the known names in the industry. But that itself is a lot of work, getting to know
A lot
people
of work.
coming from the tech background and coming to the real estate. And that goes the same for me as well, because I pivoted from the tech world to the real estate world as well. It takes time, it takes patience. It also needs a character to make a place in this industry and also position yourself in a way that you're making all these meaningful relations, and then you're bringing all these strong deals to your investors so they don't have to do the same thing. So if you can share that journey with us, how did you create this reliable network for yourself?
Yes. So, like you said, it does take time and effort. I see a lot of people kind of rushing this process. It is a process. It is a journey. So in my case, I think back in 2019, where Ashish and I decided we're going to launch Wealthy Mind Investments as a private equity boutique firm in Palo Alto on University Avenue, such an iconic place. And
Mhm.
the company name was officially written is Wealthy Mind Investments, because I'm a big believer in a mindset, right? You cannot achieve something if you do not create it in your mind, if you don't have that vision, if you don't have that sort of a picture in your mind, because you'll manifest, as Bob
That's
Proctor
true.
says, if you can manifest, you will manifest anything pretty much that you want. If you can see it in your mind, you can have it in your hand.
That's true.
And it took me quite a bit of time because I kept going to different events. I'm a big believer in meeting people face to face. So Ashish and I, we went to many real estate investor conferences. We also, through our connections, through introductions, through referrals, build a strong network of those experienced partners and operators. They needed additional help with capital, and that's where we decided that will be our value add. We will find people such as myself that need it or wanted and be interested in real estate investments. And we just kept going to their offices, kept going to conferences, meeting them, building relationships. And some of them, it took us years to get to finally saying, oh, yes, this is a good time. We're partners. We will decide to co invest with you on a deal, because we would turn down several deals as well. In fact, back in 2021, that was our first investment as a wealthy mind investment during COVID. The COVID hit, and we met the sponsor for close to a year. It was back and forth, a lot of meetings, a lot of emails, and then we finally launched the deal, and we never looked back.
So I was going to ask you the question about your company name, Wealthy Minds, and you already answered that for me before
Okay,
me.
great.
Because I love the name Wealthy Minds. I'm like a mindset person too. Really totally believe in whatever you said. So there's two things I'm going to highlight whatever you said. The number one is you were saying that you can first you have to create in your mind, then you can manifest that. And I'm 100% believer in that. Everything is created twice in this world, once in your mind and then physically outside. And the second thing is the vision. You need to know your address. If you do not know your address, there's no possible way you can get there. So address is very important. Address is your future state. And a lot of people forget that. They just feel like everybody's doing, let me do that too. There's nothing wrong with that too. That approach might work too, because eventually you'll figure out what your address is going to be. But that's a lot of kind of churning right there. So till you get there. But if you know your address in advance, you can strategically get your GPS out, figure out the directions to get there. So you wanted to share something there, did you already had the set goals that you wanted to achieve this, or it kept evolving for you when you found Ashish as your partner?
Yeah, I think it kept evolve. It continues to evolve. It keeps evolving all the time because you're living and breathing. Okay, we're always changing. I also like to have that analogy that you're either dying or you're moving forward. Because if you're not learning, if you're not making some sort of improvements in your life, look at where we are now with AI technology. I mean, this is insane. Electrical cars, the innovations is happening whether you believe in it or you don't. So you can either be a spectator or you can join that revolution and be part of it. And the vision keeps evolving. I also want to mention another very important fact, which is the power and the importance of coaching and mentors. I would not be where I am without a mentor and a coach. And I've had several mentors, and I still do, and coaches that continuously helping me, pushing me, giving me new insights. We all have blind spots. We all have some goals, and this is a team effort. You cannot be successful in the real estate investing business without other people help, without somebody who is going to push you, propel you, give you new insight, give you new directions, challenge sometimes some of your status quo and ideas.
That's true. Like I say all the time, I'm going to say it again. Life is too short to make all the mistakes yourself and learn from it.
Exactly.
Humans learn the best way is just like partnering up with others and learning from others' experience. And mentor plays a big role in our lives because they have already figured out something. We don't have to do that. They can just show us the path, what they did from their experience. Accordingly, we can tweak it and follow that somewhat and create our own path. Because no path is going to be exactly the same anyways. If you're thinking that, oh, it's a cookie cutter, I'll take my mentor's 100% and create the similar thing. It's not going to happen. You have to tweak it to your appetite, or according to your experience, you're going to create a new experience for yourself based on that. But let's work right there. Because you're going to try to figure out yourself, it's going to take whatever. You agree on that 100%, right?
Why would you not shortcut the time and listen to somebody? So my advice always been to, find out somebody who has what you want.
Exactly.
Don't do exactly what they tell you to do. Listen to them. Get their advice and then customize it based on your goal.
Let me ask you that. So what are your future plans and goals in the real estate industry, given that we are kind of in that turmoil phase, a lot going on, there's a lot of blood on the street. I don't know if today's economics totally makes sense for the investors. So there's a lot of questions that I'm throwing at you. Investors are kind of hesitant, they're scared. investor sentiment is kind of, let's stay on the sidelines, let's wait and watch kind of thing. So are you experiencing all that, whatever I'm sharing?
Yes, yes, there's
Share
no
with.
question about it. Right now we live in a very challenging time because of the high interest rates, right? You see the rent growth in certain markets, certain asset classes is not where it was to be. But this is all, in my mind, in the view of many other experts, is temporary. This is another cycle. Real estate has been there for many, many years, and this is looking back probably 2, 3 years from now will go back and say this was the time to invest, right?
That.
Because why would you not invest when maybe there are some 10, 20, 30% discounts?
Mhm.
Why wouldn't you invest where you see the opportunity to acquire these assets at such a cost basis, where there could be some distress, maybe some motivated seller, right? There was so much demand and supply back in 2020, 21, 22. I mean, we had a bull run. We
Mhm.
had an amazing market, but it's a cycle. And we all know that what goes up sometimes needs to come down and it will resume the growth again. Yes, we are in a down cycle right now, but things will over time improve. Anybody who had made investments during the last downturn, 2008, 9, 10, I think they're sitting pretty right now. So I think as long as investors understand the big picture, understand that real estate is not liquid, you need to allocate 3, 5, or sometimes even more years to let it hold and grow and create that appreciation, create that value. This is not a speculative play, buy Google at $80, sell tomorrow for 85, right? You need to allow that appreciation and sometimes renovations to kick in, and this takes time, 3 to 5 years.
That's true. I agree on that. You said it very well. That it's a temporary situation and you're gonna allow some time. It's not like that you're changing everything tomorrow. And 5 years from now, the thing's gonna be totally different. It's not gonna be the same scenario. And this is the time to invest or get into the market. Like Warren Buffett says, when people are fearful, get greedy. So
Yes.
this is the time to get greedy a little bit over here. So from your journey from tech to real estate, share with me what was the most rewarding part of your journey?
I think the most rewarding part was waking up one day and saying, you know what, I built this from scratch. I
Boom.
own this.
Awesome.
I have this company, and I work my butt off. We started the company back in 2019, and I quit my job only in 2021. There was a lot of hours in between my job, after the working hours, because being in tech, as we all know, it's not as simple as just collecting a huge paycheck. You work around the clock. You have a lot of stressful situation. I was dealing with enterprise, a lot of organizations, but at one point I became again so stressed and dissatisfied that I said, it's time to get out. I could not do that. And I wish to everybody to have this amazing feeling where you wake up maybe on Monday morning and you realize you don't have to
I
go to the office. You don't have the boss. You are your own boss. And you
got it.
work your butt off still, but this is so rewarding. And the last, 4 years, 3, 4 years since I quit, probably would have been not probably, but exactly the best 3 years of my life, because I'm in alignment, I'm in fulfillment, and I don't have that conflict in my head anymore that should I do this? Should I quit? Is this the right time? What if maybe this and that? And it's an amazing feeling.
Thank you for sharing that. So, what advice would you have for the tech professionals who don't want to quit their job and they don't have to, like I said earlier, they can keep on doing whatever they love, but on the side, they can create this passive income stream or start generating this generational wealth?
Yes, start small. I always tell people, don't invest, 500, 250,000 even to begin with. Talk to people that understand the space. Find somebody that you have a good rapport, who is responsible, who is answering your question, who is not rushing you. Don't believe in any of the hype that a lot of these sales and marketing people that have these gimmicks. This is the best deal. We're closing in 3 days. All of this. Nobody believes in that. And just get educated. Get educated just like me. I started small, and then over time, once you understand the tax deferral, tax components, tax free income, you will realize that it does make sense to shift your portfolio slightly, keep a stock market, crypto, whatever, already working for you, which is great, but start diversifying. I always tell people, analyze Tiger 21. Tiger 21 is an organization that has uber wealthy investors that have a net worth of at least 20 to 25 million dollars. Look at their portfolio. Look how they invest. Don't get into this typical financial advisor 60-40 stocks and bonds. Look at how uber wealthy people have real estate and alternative assets exposure to their portfolio to generate massive wealth with tax deferral and tax-free income, because ultimately you want to have that option one day to call it quits and say, you know what, I'm out of here because I already replaced my income and maybe I start my own company. So that is my advice to somebody who is starting out.
Okay, so share one more golden nugget with my audience. Could be on mindset, could be on anything.
I think again, it's the power of mentors and coaching. If you really want to go deep, if you're serious and committed to it, not interested but committed to it, I highly recommend hiring a coach or a mentor, somebody again who has done what you want to achieve. You will streamline your process of 10,000% or more.
I agree on that 100%, and I vouch for that. This brings us to our rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You're going to answer in 1 word or 1 sentence only. Are you ready?
Yes, let's go for it.
All right. So what is one of the most important things that you have learned in your life? And how did your life change after learning it?
I think it's the power of perseverance, beating, losing, your loved ones, usually a job, always being able to get up and keep going.
Great. Share with me one good book that you like and would like to recommend to my audience.
Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. It's a Bible for success, and I've read it many times, and I continue to reread this, and I highly recommend this.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is every time you read, you learn something new.
You'll find something new.
I don't know if, I'm not sure if the same thing for you. Every time I read, I'm like, okay, did I miss this last time? You always find something new. There's always new learning whenever you go back and read. In 1 word, what does life mean to you?
It's an adventure.
I like that. What is your biggest passion?
Travel.
Mine too. I wanted to see all the countries in this world. If you can turn back in time and talk to your younger self, what would you tell yourself and why?
I would tell myself to start learning real estate sooner, because ultimately I always been a rebel. I always wanted to have my own company, and I wish I would have done it sooner than I am, but no regrets.
But I wanted to say one thing over here, because everything happens at its own
For a
time.
reason, yes.
Yeah, there's a reason behind it. And success comes to you when you're ready for success. Everybody wants to be successful, but it only comes when you're ready for it. You need to have all the bells and whistles, everything in place.
Correct.
And you got that and you got there. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. So share with me, how can people reach out to you?
Yes, if anybody interested to keep in touch, please reach out to me through my website, wealthymindinvestments.com, alex@wealthymindinvestments.com, or you can reach out to me on Facebook or LinkedIn, Alex Kholodenko at wealthymindinvestments.com.
Thank you, Alex, for sharing your journey. I really enjoyed our conversation today.
Thank you, Vinki. I appreciate the opportunity. All the best.